I'm standing here in Forest Groves Estates. This is a neighborhood east of downtown Durango by a little bit over 20 minutes, which has a river running right through it, tucked in the pines, and has some really nice views from a lot of these homes. This is just one of the neighborhoods, and we're going to show you 3 neighborhoods similar to this today that are all a little bit further from downtown Durango, a little bit over 20 minutes, but has some very stunning, nice private lots. A lot of these lots are a lot bigger, and we're going to be showing you lots that are mostly tucked in the forest, a lot more trees like I mentioned, and a lot of these neighborhoods are really pretty with some nice kind of ridgeline type views all around them. Now we're going to get into the details as we go show you these properties and these neighborhoods specifically, but I just want to give you a little bit of an overview of what these neighborhoods are like. We're going to be ranging in elevation from about 7,400 feet all the way up to about 8,000 feet. So you're at higher elevation here, again, a little bit further from downtown Durango, and we're going to make sure to show you the pros and cons, really get into the weeds on the details of these neighborhoods, show you some of the reasons my clients didn't buy here. And one of my clients just went under contract in one of these neighborhoods, and we're going to get into all the details of why they decided to buy here over a lot of other areas, and we're jumping into it right now. Hey guys, as much as I love shooting these videos, I even love more helping you with your real estate goals. Give me a call, text, or email, days, nights, weekends. I'm a licensed realtor here in Southwest Colorado, Durango, Hesperus, Mancos. We cover this entire area and would love to help you. So reach out, we'd be happy to jump on a Zoom call, really go over your criteria, really figure out some areas that maybe you weren't aware of, maybe some areas that would better suit what you're looking for, and make it a seamless, smooth process. All right, so the first subdivision we are at is Taylor Ranch. It is right off of County Road 240, which starts at Florida Road and turns into County Road 240. All of these homes are off of County Road 240 here, or all of these neighborhoods rather. Something that I really love about this neighborhood is, first of all, it's a gated subdivision with paved roads throughout, and it climbs up in elevation throughout the neighborhood. So if you don't want a home that's higher elevation, all of these neighborhoods aren't going to be best for you because it starts at 7,900 feet elevation and climbs from there. So keep that in mind to start, and as we continue into the next 3 subdivisions, they are a little bit higher in elevation. And then what I really love about this, and really all of these, are they're fairly forested lots. The majority of these lots are fairly forested. You're not getting a lot of very flat lots. I know I'm kind of going into the cons of these neighborhoods, but you're not getting a ton of very flat space. You'll see that the majority of these lots in this neighborhood are 20 acres. And I had a client looking recently at these lots, and they really wanted a lot that was 20 acres plus of usable land, and they only got maybe 3 to 4 acres of flat usable land. So that's something that you really want to be cautious of as you're looking at lots and homes in this neighborhood. Then the other thing that some of my clients don't like about some of these neighborhoods that we're talking about today is just that all of these are a little bit over 20 minutes to downtown Durango, closer to that 20 to 25 range to Durango High School. And just depending on where you're wanting to go, you are a little bit further from town. You are closer to the Meadow Market. We'll put that up on the screen, the distance to the Meadow Market. It's going to be really your only amenity close by as far as access to a little coffee shop. They've got some great lunch options and breakfast burritos as well. Now let's jump into some details on this neighborhood. The highest home sold price in Taylor Ranch was $1.339. Then square footage really ranges between 1974 and 4260. And again, those lot sizes are all right around 20 acres in here. So really nice lot sizes, but again, they're very kind of on the side of a cliff, or you have a fairly small building envelope in these lots. And so I really want you guys to be aware of that. That's kind of the one con that I've heard from a lot of my clients, as well as it's just further from town. Then the homes are on well, septic, and propane, as you are away from city utilities. And then again, your elevation is right under 8,000 feet, but it does climb in elevation throughout the neighborhood as the road just continually climbs throughout. Now, something that is fairly uncommon in HOAs is the short-term rentals, is that short-term rentals are allowed in Taylor Ranch, and the HOA mainly just covers road maintenance and snow removal. You'll see that very frequently. If you haven't watched a lot of my videos, you'll see that very frequently in a lot of these HOAs. There'll be fairly nominal HOAs that are covering that snow removal and road maintenance. Now we'll put up on the screen the distance to downtown Durango, but you're slightly over 20 minutes. And then we'll also put up on the screen the distance to the airport. You're right around around 30 minutes, slightly under. Again, all these numbers are depending on the distance from whichever home you select. Now keep in mind, all of these distances that we're putting up on the screen really vary based on the home that you choose, as this is a fairly large subdivision, and a lot of these subdivisions will range in drive from maybe 4 to 5 minutes difference based on the home. Now, I typically don't put up on the screen the distance to some amenities in Bayfield, but we're almost creeping up on halfway from Durango and Bayfield. So let's put up on the screen the distance to Rocky Mountain General Store as well as the grocery store in Bayfield, as those are right around 30 minutes. Then we'll put up on the screen the distance to Purgatory Ski Resort. You're a little bit over 40 minutes, and distance to Wolf Creek, a little bit or really close to an hour 45. We'll put that up on the screen as well. Now, I briefly want to talk about trail access. There are some really cool, amazing trails over on Missionary Ridge. Now, there's kind of a secret access point. I mean, you can find this on the trail map, so I'm not telling you anything that a lot of people don't know, but it's hard to figure this out if you're not from here. So you go up the road, back towards town just a little bit, you pull into Durango Hills, drive up to the top of Durango Hills, and that's where you access the trails to Missionary Ridge. Absolutely stunning, breathtaking trails looking over the Animas Valley from there. And you could do a hike that's maybe 40, 50 minutes total and get those incredible views from a hike. So you have fairly close access to hiking from this subdivision as well as the other subdivisions we're going to talk about today. Now, distance to fishing, if you're really wanting to fish, as I love to fly fish, you're only about 20 minutes to downtown Durango, a little bit over that, which is where the Animas River is. So of course there's different points that you can put in at, different points that you can fish. Something I highly recommend is reaching out to any of the guide services here, and I really recommend just taking out a guide. If you're not an experienced fly fisherman, take out a guide. It's gonna be the best $400 or $500 you've spent, and really just ask them, hey, I wanna just really learn from you, really understand how to fish and not just have a great day fishing and not learn as much. So I really recommend that. As you can tell, I personally love fly fishing, so reach out to me if you're even considering fly fishing once you get out here. Then let's talk a little bit more just about what this neighborhood is like. You're gonna see a lot of animals. You're gonna see deer, elk, turkey, a lot in this neighborhood. Then again, something that separates this neighborhood from some others that we're talking about today is it is gated. It also has paved roads. Some of the other neighborhoods we're talking about, I think all of them don't have paved roads, so that's really nice. And you are the closest to town out of all these somewhat higher elevation neighborhoods we're talking about. And the other thing about this neighborhood, as well as the others, is as you get a little bit outside of that 20-minute bubble from downtown Durango, prices start to come down a little bit compared to homes that are a little bit closer to town. You just start to get to that point where people don't want to pay kind of a premium for where they're living, and they want to just be a little bit closer to town. So you're getting a little bit of a discount on these homes in here, in my opinion, if all things are the same and you're comparing to a like property that's a little bit closer to town. Now, the other thing I almost forgot to mention is taking a left out of here, you go towards Lemon and Vallecito Reservoir. We'll put up on the screen the distance to Lemon Reservoir as well as Vallecito. Those are absolutely breathtaking lakes, and I really like fly fishing those lakes, paddleboarding, getting out on a boat on those lakes. Really fun, and you're just a little bit closer to those lakes living up this way as well. Keep that in mind for the other neighborhoods, as those are going to be closer to those lakes than even Taylor Ranch, which is where we're at right now. All right, now we're in another subdivision called Forest Groves, and I want to give you this subdivision, give you a neighborhood tour of this subdivision because it is a really, really desirable subdivision. I've shown this to, just showed it to some clients right now, shown this to about 4 different clients in the matter of about a month this summer because it is just a gorgeous subdivision, has water running through the majority of the homes or the majority of the properties, decent sized lots, and check this out, river, absolutely beautiful river right here running right through the subdivision. There are some lots that are much bigger, and then there are some lots that are fairly small but still have a good amount of separation between them and other homes. Then it kind of goes up the road here, or there's a road that goes higher incline kind of above the neighborhood, and that road, what's amazing about those homes is although they're not on the water, they look right over the river and have these really, really cool views of the ridges beyond them. And the price points really vary in here. So I just showed a home at $535. I showed one at $500,000, both needing a lot of updates, both in that 1,700 square foot range. And the other home that I showed was around 2,300 square feet. That was closer to $800,000. And so you've got a big variation of homes and really different style of homes. There's a lot of wood homes, wood siding, log homes, a lot of rock, and and just that kind of mountain feel that you're looking for, you're really going to get that here. Now, some pros and cons about this area: they get a ton of snow, absolute ton of snow in here, quite a bit higher elevation. But the plus is I was just talking to some neighbors here, and they were telling us how they plow these streets. They do a really good job of plowing these streets, and they've only had one time in the past 33 years that they couldn't get out of their home because of all the snow. So they do a great job of plowing. Keep in mind, there's a lot of neighborhoods in this area. If you really want to be in this area, that kind of 20 to 25 minute bubble from downtown Durango, there's a lot of homes or neighborhoods that have steeper driveways and steeper roads going into the home. So this neighborhood, almost pancake flat roads for most of the neighborhood, and then there are some homes that do have a little bit steeper road going up to them, but for the most part, no sharp turns and just flatter driveways all across the board. Keep in mind, this river does run all year round. So you will see some homes, some listings say seasonal creek. Really be kind of skeptical of that. Like, they do have seasonal creeks throughout Durango, throughout this area, but this river, the Pine River, runs all year round. I'll walk up here and show you the flow of this again. Really, really amazing river. Really amazing river. Check it out. Amazing flow right here. I'm right on this bridge. And something else that's really cool about this subdivision is they have a little island that is accessed by everyone. There's a little trail that goes to it, and you've got this area right off of the river that everybody can access as well. A few other things about this neighborhood. When you're talking trails, can I access trails quickly from here? Yes, you can. Sheer Creek Trail, just down the road by less than a mile. Really good parking lot. Cons of it are a lot of horses. A lot of people do take horses on that trail as well, so it's not just bikes and hiking, but really cool trail, about a 7.3 mile trail right there. Then there's a ton of trails as you continue going east towards Meadow, Lemon Reservoir, and you're not very far from Lemon Reservoir here as well. So you've got some great fishing there, kayaking, boating, paddleboarding, really, really cool lake there as well. So you're closer to a lot of outdoor activities here and still kind of in that 20-25 minute bubble from downtown Durango. We are now in the subdivision of Los Ranchitos. I really like this subdivision, and this is the subdivision I mentioned where we just went under contract with a client on a home that they just saw this weekend. So I'm going to tell you some of their kind of pros and cons. First of all, you're just under 30 minutes to downtown Durango. So for them, that wasn't too long of a drive, and it's a really easy, very, very pretty drive to downtown Durango. And although it is higher elevation, they do a very good job of plowing these roads and plowing the road down below this road to get into the road, which is Florida Road that turns into County Road 240 that is on the way up to Lemon Reservoir. So Lemon Reservoir, we'll put up on the screen the distance to that. I think that's another pro. You're a lot closer to Lemon as well as Meadow, and you're about halfway between Durango and Bayfield as well. So if you want to enjoy some of those amenities in Bayfield, which it does definitely have some things to offer that Durango doesn't, but we'll kind of save that for a different video. With that in mind, I'll actually put up on the screen one of the videos we shot all about Bayfield. So if you want to check that out later, kind of leaning more towards Bayfield, just learning what's out there, check that out as well. A few other things about this neighborhood. As you can see behind me, you've got ponderosa pine, you have some spruce trees, and you have a few lots with some aspen trees on them as well. There's about 8 to 10 lots in this neighborhood that have enough meadow for horses, and there's about 74 lots total in here. I really like this neighborhood because there's a lot of neighborhoods where they're very forested and just very, very hilly. A little bit like Taylor Ranch that we came from earlier in this video. And this neighborhood is very forested. It is hilly, but it has a lot more gradual hills in this neighborhood compared to a lot of others. So if you're buying a, say, 3-acre lot, most of that lot is fairly usable. Now, it's not very, very flat, but like I mentioned, there are several lots in here that are pretty flat and fairly usable as well. Now there's 3 lots up at the top of Los Ranchitos that do adjoin National Forest. So that is a really cool amenity, and it is fairly close to several trails. We'll put those up on the screen. There are some other neighborhoods that are closer to trails, such as if you get closer to downtown Durango, you go into the Animas Valley, or even if you go west of town, there are some neighborhoods that are a little bit closer to Twin Buttes and trails like that. But you do have some good access to trails here, especially if you head up towards Lemon or Meadow Reservoir. Then Central Water services both north and the south portion of Los Ranchitos. So that is a really unique feature of this neighborhood compared to a lot of other neighborhoods out in this area. Then homes are on septic and propane out here. And again, I just want to talk to the elevation. You're at just about 8,000 feet elevation out here, so you do get quite a bit more snow. And I really want to assure you that they do a great job of plowing the roads, but keep in mind that a lot of these neighbors or a lot of these homes rather have fairly long driveways, maybe not compared to what you're used to, but they have long enough driveways where I'd recommend having either an ATV with a plow on the end or a tractor or something to where you can plow your own driveway, or you could just pay someone to plow the driveway. Those costs are gonna range maybe between $75 to $125 for somebody to plow the driveway. And my client was asking me earlier, how often will that need to take place? Really just depends on the winter. We've seen winters where it's only 2 to 3 times in the winter, and we've seen winters where maybe it's 10 to 12 times you're gonna have somebody plow your driveway. So it really does vary based on the winter, but maybe ranging between 3 and 12 times. Now going back to distance to town, you're about 12 miles from town, and we'll put up on the screen again the drive, the amount of time it'll take to get here. You've got about 74 lots in Los Ranchitos, and the highest home sold here was about 1.3 million. Now, like many neighborhoods we've talked about, home sizes really ranging here from 1344 to 5272 square feet. Then lot sizes range from 2.84 to about 10 acres, but most of the lots are right around 3 acres. And I want to talk about views a little bit. There are some homes in here that have some really phenomenal views of the ridges on the other side. You're not going to really have any mountain views. The home behind me, I actually recently showed this several times. You have a little bit of a mountain view, but not much. As you can see, there's a lot of trees around you, so it's tough to get much of any mountain views, and you're really kind of in this valley here. So you have some kind of ridgeline views that are around you, but not a whole lot of amazing mountain views. So if that's really what you're looking for, give me a call and we'll show you some other areas. Then going back to elevation, we're at 8,091 feet, and again, that varies based on the home that we chose for the elevation, as the neighborhood does climb in elevation as you get into the upper portion of the neighborhood. HOA is $380 per quarter. And then you are allowed to have horses. Of course, depends on the lot and which lots really allow for having horses, which lots are really best for having horses, I should say. Then traffic noise, you really aren't gonna hear much, but you are gonna hear some from County Road 240. Just depends on where the house is situated. Where I'm at right now, you can't hear any, you just hear the wind blowing through the trees, and it is really nice. Really nice temperature too. I just drove up from downtown Durango, 4 to 5 degrees cooler up here than in downtown Durango, where it's about 1,500 feet lower elevation, but that's also going to be the same for the winter. It is going to be colder in the winter. You are going to get quite a bit more snow. I'm going to say you're going to be right around 50 to 100% more snow than in town Durango. So a good example that I like to tell my clients is in town Durango might get between 4 and 8 inches on kind of an average snow. So you're getting maybe double that, maybe close to 16 to 18 inches here on a really big snow. So it's not like you're getting 3 feet. You know, it is manageable, but it is a lot at the same time. Now my client also decided to buy here because fences are allowed, so you can fence in the yard for your dogs or animals. Now we're gonna put a few other items up on the screen. We're gonna show you the distance to downtown Durango. I know I mentioned that and showed you that earlier, but I wanna show you that again. We're gonna show you the distance to the airport. Then we're gonna show you the distance to Durango High School. Should be right under 30 minutes, again, depending on the home we choose to put that on the map, or put that on the screen rather. And then we'll show you the distance to City Market. And the last one we'll show you is the distance to the Meadow Market. Now I know I mentioned this earlier in the video, but I absolutely love the Meadow Market. I highly recommend stopping in there, checking it out. What's really cool about it is we really didn't have any coffee shop slash restaurant like them, really any at all, in this area off of Florida Road and County Road 240 here. All this area, you really didn't have anything, and now they have amazing breakfast burritos. They've got some great sandwiches. They have some other amenities, like you can go in and get some grass-fed beef from James Ranch. You can get some ice cream. They do some game nights. They have all kinds of stuff going on there. So it's really, really fun to stop in there, get some food from just about any meal. As of now, they are closed on Monday and Tuesdays, so keep that in mind. But the weekends, the rest of the week, they are really awesome and worth stopping in for some food. All right, now let's dive into some outdoor activities, just distance to those. We talked about Lemon Reservoir. That's gonna be the closest lake. We'll put that up on the screen again, the distance to Lemon. Then we'll show you the distance to Vicito Reservoir and the distance to Pastores Reservoir. The next one we'll put up on the screen is the distance to the Animas River, which is in town Durango. So you're about the same drive to downtown Durango. The last one is, we're gonna show you the distance to Bayfield. We'll put that up on the screen, the distance to Bayfield, as well as the distance to some skiing skiing. So we'll put up on the screen the distance to Purgatory Ski Resort. You are a little bit further away, of course. We're closer to an hour, creeping up on an hour. And then the distance to Wolf Creek Ski Resort, we're closer to an hour and a half, slightly over, I believe, but we'll put that up on the screen right now as well. The distance to things, you're a lot closer to Lemon Reservoir, a little bit further from town. You're creeping up on that 30-minute range from downtown Durango. And so if that's not for you guys, still reach out to me. I've got some other amazing playlists and videos. Feel free to check those out in the playlist section on YouTube, and you can see all of my other neighborhood tours. But just reach out to me. I'm happy to hop on a call, just kind of discuss what you're looking for, dive into your criteria, and really show you some neighborhoods that are going to be the best fit for you and your family. And guys, if you didn't catch it earlier, I am a licensed realtor here in Durango in Southwest Colorado, so would love to help you with all of your real estate needs. So just reach out, give me a call, text or email, days, nights, weekends. And by the way, make sure to subscribe. I've got some really cool videos planned for the future. Make sure to subscribe, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you guys soon. I'll talk to you later. Thanks.